specific topic is office structure, and the objectives we expect to cover this morning include how to define the terms that are related to structure of a business, to explain the structure of a business, to identify several factors determining how office structure and activity may be organized, explain the multiplicity of positions on staff, and explain the levels of staff and the levels of responsibility that usually exist in a workplace. We may not cover all of them, but we will move on in section 2 wherever we leave off today. Alright, so let us look at the terms that are related to structure. So, for us to understand what is structure of a business, we have to understand first what is the nature of business. The nature of a business is what a person or what a group of persons are involved with in order to make the profit that they desire. So people get involved in manufacturing or industrials. So we're talking about people like farmers, dressmakers, tailors, bakeries, fishermen, and factories, because they are either extracting things from the natural resources or they are converting raw materials into finished goods so that people can end up getting it in the other sectors. Alright? And then we have the next type of business. Commercial. The commercial businesses are those businesses that are engaged in getting the raw products to the raw material or the finished goods to people. So we're talking about people like supermarket, shops, haberdasheries, and so on. Right? They get the goods to you. Right? Retailers, wholesalers, and so on. And then the next one is the service industry. So doctors, lawyers, taxi drivers, right? Banks, services, hairdressers, and so on. Right? They provide services. Then the next term we're looking at is size. How a business is set up will depend on the size. And we know size of a business by the number of branches that the business has, by the number of departments each branch have, and by the number of workers that each organization employs. That's how we know how big or small a business is. Structure. What is structure then? Structure is how the business set up, how it is organized, how it is arranged. Does it have departments? Does it have managers? Does it have supervisors? Does it have branches all over Jamaica? Does it have branches abroad? That is structure. Activities. A business structure will depend on the activities in which it is involved with on a day-to-day basis. Does it do all the activities on one particular day? Does it sell only at the workplace? Does it go out on the streets, in the cities, in the byways to buy and sell its products or services? Does it sell online? What is it that it does on a daily basis? So let us look particularly and definite specifically at the office structure. What is office structure? So this is what you will write in your notebook. Structure is how the organization is organized or arranged. It is a formal, well-planned relationship between the personnel, the workers of the organization, and the functions they perform in relation to the other personnel or workers, so that the business can achieve its objectives. Right? Next, how is office structure organized? How is the business arranged? How is the setup organized? Right? Organization may be organized based on several factors, and you have to be careful that the factors work together. So we look at the size and the nature of the business as we defined earlier. We look at the multiplicity, the different types of positions that are on the staff, and we will go through these later. So we are just listing the factors right now, the types and the patterns of relationships that exist. I will explain that as we go on in a further slide. The nature and the duties of responsibilities, deployment of staff, decisions regarding centralization and decentralization of office activities, and how much computer software is used in the business. And we will be going through these one at a time on different days. Alright? So today we are going to focus on just one of the factors that affect how the structure of a business is organized, right? And we are looking at the size of the business today. So size, as I said before, has to do with if the business have a number of branches in Jamaica or in the community, if it have a number of branches in the Caribbean or in international countries. Does it have different departments in each location? How many workers are employed in each location? Right? So let us look at, we are going to break this down into three categories. We are going to do 3 categories: the small business, the large business, and then we look at the one that is in between, the medium business. How do we know when a business is small? A business is small if it employs up to 50 employees. If the business has more than 50 employees, it ceases to be a small business. Right? Next, most likely a small business is owned by a small trader. Most small businesses are owned by a sole trader. A sole trader is a one-man business. I'm sure you have been looking at that in POB. So a sole trader is a one-man owner. Right? And when I say man, I don't mean gender man, I mean one person. Right? Number 3, a small business usually employ only general help, and they don't usually have any specialist workers. And what is a specialist worker? A specialist worker is like marketing manager, sales manager, sales clerk, accountant, and so on. Most times small businesses do not have specialist workers like that. They will have maybe 1 or 2 managers, yes, but the managers do a variety of work. Most times they don't have a lot of different departments. Right? So as we go down in the lesson, you will understand more about the specialist workers. So you will not have a secretary different from a clerk, different from a receptionist. You may just have one secretary at the front of the business, and this secretary is the telephone operator. He or she is the switchboard operator. He or she receives the visitors. He or she sells at the front of the office anything that the business is selling, small items. This person also collects money at the front of the office. The person is also the cashier. The person also assists the boss. So that we don't have specialist workers like that in a small business most times, right? Next one, all the staff in the business knows the owner and talks to the owner when he or she comes on the premises. Alright? And they acquire knowledge of the business. They know who is the owner, they know what type of, maybe they know which bank the business use and so on, because the business is small, so it doesn't take long for information to flow down the stream, right? Number 5, the office, if there is any. And notice I say if there is any. Remember in previous lesson we said that the office is a place where the business has space to prepare documents, to prepare correspondence, to send and receive correspondence, and so on. And the office can be physical or it can be virtual. So that's why we are saying no if it is any. Right? We are saying if it is any. The human resource clerk and all other office services may be prepared by just one person. So this one person must have a variety of skills. Alright? So this you're not going to employ much persons to do one task. Alright? Size and nature of the business continued on this slide. Let us move into number 6. Number 6, the office may have a desk or a small room, one computer, etc. Few opportunities are available for training and staff development. The business is usually small, so the profits are usually small, the capital is small, and so they are not going to send their workers to school so easily. They're not going to plan any big socials, any get together at Christmas and all of that. No sports club or sport complex for the workers to come in and play, because the boss's income and profit level is usually much smaller than large companies. Alright? There may be occasional informal events. Maybe once in a while the boss have a little get together, but nothing big. Alright? Number 8, if you wish to obtain further qualifications, you will have to do so on your own time. So if you have class at 5 o'clock and you leave work at 5 o'clock, you're going to be in problem. The boss might decide to take the money out of your pay if you leave before time, or you have to decide to go to school leave. So it's going to be up to you. Alright? The business may not be able to buy large sophisticated machine and equipment, office equipment. You may have to work hard, and even when the machines are giving you a problem, you have to try to fix it yourself or so on, because the boss cannot afford a new one. Right? Let us wait on this new slide to come up. Still looking at the small business. Number 9. Small businesses sometimes do not have money to provide fringe benefits for their workers. And usually, if they even can provide fringe benefits, only the persons at the top get it. So if the business have a 1 or 2 manager, the managers get the fringe benefit and the workers don't. What is fringe benefit, you are asking? Fringe benefits are those things that you don't work for, but your workplace provides it. So they provide the fringe benefits to make your life more enjoyable, to make your life feel more fulfilled, and also to help you out where you have challenges. So a workplace may provide transportation for you to go to and from work, like the hotels do. As long as you catch the staff bus, you don't pay fare, right? You don't work for the bus. You work $10,000 a week. You don't pay the driver when you get off, right? So of course it is fringe. It is on the edge. The word fringe means on the edge. So you work your salary, but you also get things on the edge. Some workplaces give uniforms. You don't pay for the uniforms. Some workplaces give 1 meal per day at the workplace. So if you work in the day, if you go to work early, you may get breakfast. If you go to work in the middle of the day, you may get break or lunch. And if you work at night, you may get dinner. right? So it all depends on the type of workplace you're working in and what they can afford. All right. Some of them also give health cards, so you may be able to go to the doctor, buy medication, dentist, and so on at little or no cost to you. Right. Number 10. Some workplaces provide a pension scheme, and you may have to pay your own pension, and the workplace will contribute some of it. All right. But as I said again, it may be only for the senior workers, right? Limited salary increase. You have people who work at workplaces for years and they have never gotten a salary increase unless the government says that you cannot be paid less than this. Most times the workplaces do not move your salary up because they cannot afford to move the salaries up, right? Salary scales can be adopted. What is a salary scale? A salary scale is a group that workplaces use to pay people at. So there might be an A scale where people get between $8,000 and $10,000 a week. There might be a B scale where people get $15,000 a week. There might be a C scale where people get paid by the month and get maybe $50,000-$60,000 a month based on their level of work and their level of staff, right? So the salary scales, that's it. So when we mean by ad hoc means it doesn't happen all the time. It happens sometime, right? So the salary scale might change every 2 years. Some people's salary scale might change every 3 years or 4 years. So ad hoc, not always planned. Or you may get a pay raise based on if the business make a profit this year, the boss might decide to give you an increase. If it doesn't make any, you don't get any. Alright? Next one. The small business do not have much space for progress. So progress in promotions is limited. People are not easily or quickly promoted, and sometimes there's no promotion at all. Say for example, you're 3 persons working in a garment establishment. The person who owns the business and the other 2 persons who help him or her to sew the clothes. Is there somewhere for you to go up in the ranks to become the owner? No. So there's no way for you to be promoted. If you want to be promoted to owner of a business, you will have to go leave and open your own establishment, but you will not be promoted in that establishment, right? So the next one, number 14, career prospects. If your promotional opportunities are low, of course your career prospects are going to be low. There's no way you're going to come in as a cleaner and move up into being the secretary because there's nowhere for you to go. Alright? Next one, number 15, the employees that work in small businesses are usually quite skilled because they are doing a lot of different type of work. In a large business, the person who do the photocopying stay at the photocopier all day. In a small business, the person who does the photocopying is the same person who is doing the word processing. It's the same person answering the call. It's the same person arranging the meeting. And so the employee who works in a small business is usually more skilled and better able to manage a business and run a business than a person who works in a large business. Right? So that's it for the small businesses. We are going to move into the discussion on the large businesses. How do you know when a business is large? A business is large when it has more than 100 employees. Once it has more than 100 employees, it is a large business. It is also a benefit for large businesses when they have a limited liability. A business has a limited liability when if the business crashes, if it goes into problems, nobody can go to the owner's house and take their personal stuff. Small businesses usually have limited liability, so when the business crash, the judge of a court can rule that the businessman must sell him house to pay back the workers then, to pay the liabilities that the business has. But when the business is large, no court, no judge, no one can force the owners of the business to sell their personal properties to pay the debt of the business. You can only take what the business has. Alright? So you need to read up on the term limited liability. Write that in your homework. What is limited liability? Number 3, large businesses are usually sectionalized, meaning broken up into different departments. So large businesses are so large that they have a sales room different from a purchasing room, different from a transportation, different from a recruitment office, because they have the number of workers that will be able to man those areas. Alright? Staff has a little contact with managers. In large businesses, sometimes the workers don't even know who own the business. And a lot of the times the businesses are owned by hundreds and thousands of persons that are called shareholders. Filing, reprography, word processing, and the data processing tend to be centralized. Alright? Tend to be centralized. So these are some of the right? Let's move to the next slide. Great specialization of staff. Alright, so we're not moving to our next slide. Sorry. We're looking at great specialization of staff. What is specialization, you ask? Specialization is where you have one person that deals with one task. So one person doing photocopying, one person answering the phone, one person receiving the visitors, one person handling the sales, one cashier. You don't have one member doing all of those. Right? Let us see if there's anything else on this slide. Right. So number 7, each person is employed in a position that suits him or her. So when we talk about deployment and suitability of tasks, if you're trained as an accountant, you're going to be working as an accountant. If you're trained in human resource, you'll be working in human resource. So you'll be put into a position that best suits you and your qualification. And this business can buy the latest and the most sophisticated equipment and system because they can afford to buy it. Alright? And the last item on the slide, there are many opportunities for the workplace to pay you while you go and get training. You have space and positions where you can apply to move from a low level job to a higher level job. So there's space for promotion, there's staff development and social activities. So the workplace can afford all of these things. Right? Number 10, the business can afford to have sports competitions with other companies, participate in things that are happening all over the island, all over the world. They can afford to get themselves, they can afford welfare facilities, so they can afford breakfast for people on the streets. They can afford to adopt a school, they can afford to adopt a hospital or a medical center or something like that. They can afford to help families even that are not related to their workplace. Okay? Number 11, these businesses are highly structured, meaning that they have people like managing directors, board of directors, business functions with several departments, and so specialization is very important for them to operate on a day-to-day basis. Number 12, the larger the business, the more jobs are available in the departments. And when we look at the different departments later on, you will see how the jobs become more available. These jobs provide more fringe benefits for all the employees. Things like pension schemes, free health care, bathroom, lunch, uniform, transportation, housing. People get these because the businesses can afford it. Salary increase periodically. And usually the workplace will be given a salary increase every 2 years. Every 2 years it happens. It don't happen sometime, it happens every 2 years or 3 years. Alright? Next, number 15, fixed pay scales. And sometimes the pay scales related to age, and we're not talking about specific age like you're 1 or you're 2 or 3 or you're 20. We're talking about age of the number of years of service in the business. Alright? Many progress for employees. So people can get promotion. So you're coming in as a entry-level clerk, you move up to a senior clerk, move into secretary position, and then maybe into managers. There are positions for you to move up. Right? You can change or expand your career. So you came in as a clerk, you may move into accounting to do something else. Right? That's an example. And you cannot gain a variety of work skills because usually when you are employed, you work in one place. Alright? Let us look at the third level of businesses. So the third level here is the medium business, and you notice that the list here is very short. The list is very short because you can use the information from the small business or the large business to match them as the need arises. So these 4 items here is what is most specific to the small business, and then you will match other items from the other 2 based on the type of business you are looking at. So a medium business has 0 to 50 employees. It will have more than 1 room for the office. The office staff will usually be specific roles, such as the HR clerk, the receptionist, the typist, the accounts clerk. Yes, so we will have specific workers. The workers are not just one standard worker for everything, and each person will be employed in a position that suits him or her. And so these are just specific to medium, but they take most. The medium business will take most of what a large business has. It's just that they are a bit smaller. Alright? So we have come to the end of today's lesson.